Fyre Fest 2, the gift that keeps on giving, has more updates for us. It keeps getting more ridiculous. The story just will not end. Lucky for me, because these are fun to make videos about. We are going to start with the oldest news, and that is from a couple weeks ago, where NFL star Antonio Brown is revealed to be the Fyre Fest 2's first confirmed performer. So we'll talk about a little bit about that, and then it gets a lot worse for them, better for us, as we go through the last 3 or so weeks of news regarding Fyre Fest. NFL star Antonio Brown revealed as the first Fyre Fest 2 performer. Updates as of 3/15/25, so still a little while ago. Billy McFarland has revealed that the first performer of the Fyre Fest 2 lineup is not a musician or band or a DJ, but former NFL star Antonio Brown. Great first reveal. This corresponds with what McFarland previously said in a series of media interviews about the event. He told Today that the festival would include artists across electronic, hip-hop, pop, rock. However, not just music. We might have professional skateboarders do a demonstration. Or you might have an MMA champion teach you techniques in the morning. You may also recognize that Antonio Brown, as a football player, is none of those things. What the fuck is Antonio Brown going to do? Throw the ball? What performance is a single NFL player going to do at a festival? Pressed on whether the lineup was officially booked yet, McFarland replied, "So I think what makes Fyre cool is that we are selling the experience of Fyre. I want to be one of the first festivals who can sell out with no artists." Adding, "We're announcing the artists over the next few months. I'm not in charge of booking the talent." They have not announced anyone other than Antonio Brown. Maybe you should be in charge of booking the talent. I don't know. Maybe that should be a responsibility that you uphold, considering that the first festival didn't happen. We got a video from TMZ here.
You don't have any artists lined up yet. So you're telling people to buy tickets when they have no idea who is going to be performing at this thing, if anyone is going to be performing, because that was the issue with the first Fyre Fest.
Isn't it kind of wild that a music festival has this much buzz with no actual music artists? So maybe the marketing plan is working, but I think you guys have to have me back on when we actually announce the talent.
Billy, Billy, I'm sorry, but I have to say this. You're describing exactly what happened the first time when you ended up going to prison for it. Are you worried that if this doesn't come together, that there are going to be consequences for you?
The biggest difference this time is that there is a real festival company actually operating Fyre Festival. So I have fun coming on here and talking to you guys, and I have fun, hopefully swimming with the whale sharks and getting people to get outside their comfort zone. But there are real music professionals doing this.
Bro is literally like, I have nothing to do with this. I'm just the face. Yeah, it's like the trusted face of Billy McFarland, of course. Yeah, dude. Why are you involved at all at this point?
We do have real artists. They'll be announcing them professionally, and I'm just trying to stir the pot and hopefully have a couple of really fun people who understand that life ultimately is about getting outside of your comfort zone and taking risks, and I'd love to meet those people at Fyre too.
Do you actually all have some artists booked, but we just haven't announced it yet?
Correct, we have artists booked.
Would you give us one?
I wish I could, but let me get comfortable here.
How about a hint that describe what decade is this, was their heyday, this performer?
There's a great current DJ, and she is going to lead a whale shark excursion during the day and then perform at night. So excited to announce her.
A whale shark excursion. Great. Okay. What is Antonio Brown going to do? So that was the oldest of the updates, but now we've got some new updates. I just sourced a couple different headlines here. All of them sound bad. Billy McFarland swears Fyre Fest 2 is happening in Mexico. Mexican city officials refute Billy's claims that the festival is happening. Billy McFarland's Fyre Fest 2 permit only allows for a 12-hour listening party with 250 people. Let's talk about this one. McFarland previously touted a live event hosting 1,800 guests and 40 live artists. Now we're down to 250 people for a listening party. Last week, Playa del Carmen became the second location to deny involvement with Fyre Festival 2. Over the weekend, Billy McFarland and the festival organizers posted documents on Instagram as proof that they were working to lawfully host an event. Posting documents on Instagram is the number one way to get me to believe whatever you're trying to tell me, by the way. In news that surprised no one, however, the permits for said event appear to authorize little more than a multi-day listening party. All media reports suggesting our team has not been working with the government of PDC are simply inaccurate and based on misinformation, reads the caption of the post containing the documents. All right, well, let's just go to the source instead of reading a summation of the source. Fyre Fest has been working directly with the government of Palo del Karma, PDC, and their officials since March 5th of 2025 to ensure a safe and successful event. Fyre has operated as a good partner of the PDC government and has followed the proper process and procedures to lawfully host an event. We will be sharing all relevant permits, payments, and communications. You know what a legitimate festival doesn't really have to do? Post their permits, payments, and communications online for everyone to see. Coachella is happening next weekend, and everyone just knows it's going to happen. They don't have to go on Instagram and post their permits. Top comment summarizes my thoughts exactly. The fact that you even have to post this to defend yourself while all media outlets report different is hilarious. What about the disclaimer about not refunding tickets under any circumstances? The jokes write themselves. Yeah, so supposedly, I've not looked at this myself, but supposedly there is a line in your ticket contract that says the ticket cannot be refunded under any circumstances, and including if the festival doesn't even happen. Can I zoom in on this? Can I read this? Okay. Yeah, let's enhance. Can we enhance? How do we enhance? No, I don't want to like this. Fuck. Enhance. Fyre Fest is working directly with the government. Okay, this is just the schedule. This is exactly what's listed in the... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. It's up on the screen. I'm just going to read the shit on my phone. That will be easier, I think, than trying to, like, enhance. The names redacted. The names are the most important things, but... let's hear them out. Fyre Festival 2 Artist Invitation. My name is blank, and I am writing from the Office of Tourism of the Municipality of... I mean, if you redact the names in the emails, these could be from anything. These are their supposed permits. And I'm not going to read all this. I don't know why I was attempting to. No, I don't want to like the fucking post. God damn it. I don't know why I was attempting to. We've got journalists who summarized it for us. The documents include an initial permit dated March 18th, authorizing Fyre Fest to take place at the Martin Beach Club with a maximum capacity of 250 people. It approves only 12 hours from midnight to 4 a.m. each day between May 30th and June 1st. Not only that, the festival hasn't even received permission for live performances. The operating permits issued on March 26 only authorize previously recorded music. As further proof that Fyre Fest 2 isn't happening, tickets are no longer on sale at its official ticketing partner, soldout.com. Whoa, okay. Yo, sorry there are no results for this page. Yo, that's juicy news, dude. Okay. All right. The scam is crumbling. This event is a far cry from what Farland teased during the first official press conference for Fyre Fest 2 on March 27th, during what he touted would be a host to 1,800 guests, 40 performing artists. One of the festival's partners, identified only as Fernando, also claimed that he had secured all the necessary permits. We love trusting someone with one first name, no last name. At the time, Manuel Retta, head of the artists and commercial relations for Fyre Fest event company partner Lost Nights, said that the first rollout of artists announced would take place the following week. This did not happen. Last Thursday, April 3rd, the Palo Alto government issued the following denial on social media. In light of rumors about the event called Fyre 2, we inform you that no event of that name will be held in Palo del Carra after responsible review. There is no registration or planning in the municipality. It doesn't get any more clear and black and white than that. And the government being like, I don't know what papers you think you have, but we don't have them. So these are either doctored or not the papers that you're talking about. Also, you know what would give this any kind of validity whatsoever? Goddamn pop-up ads, dude. I swear to God, scrolling the internet is just, it's become cancer. This is ridiculous. Look at this. Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. Can I just pay like an internet subscription to fucking stop ads across everything? One internet subscription. You know what would shut down all these rumors like right away? If you announced a single credible artist that could back you up and be like, yeah, no, they booked me to perform. I'm performing somewhere. I already got my deposit. That is not happening. I also, despite the fact that they said that they're selling tickets, and sellout.com is their official reseller, so it looks like people have bought tickets and are potentially reselling, I have yet to see a real single human being, like on TikTok or Instagram or anything, being like, yeah, I bought a ticket to Fyre Fest too. Like, I've seen no, like, influencer collaborations, nothing. There has been no real human being has spoken about being an attendant of Fyre Fest 2 or a planned attendant of Fyre Fest 2. Previously, Fyre Fest 2 had been announced to take place on that island that we were talking about in the last video, but officials there issued a similar denial early in March, saying that they had no knowledge of this event, so then they changed it to a different place. I bet those coordinates are still in the middle of the ocean, by the way, and they're like, we don't know about this either. All right, so these are all the documents that they claim to have signed. Okay, there is more tea. Okay. Obviously, Fyre Fest 2 doesn't seem to be any more organized than Fyre Fest 1. You know who agrees? Andy King, one of the original Fyre Fest organizers, infamous for his dishy roll. Dishy roll doesn't sound right. That sounds so... There's something wrong about the phrase dishy roll. Infamous for his appearance in Netflix Fyre Fest, the greatest party that never happened on Netflix. I need to watch those documentaries. I need to do my due diligence here. Over the weekend, King posted his own statement to Instagram, claiming that he'd been in early talks with McFarlane to help with the festival's second iteration. And then this is his official statement on the gram. For all the fans and press who have been reaching out to me, I don't know if there's any fans of Fyre Fest. Back up a little bit. I don't think there's fans of Fyre Fest. To all the victims and press who have been reaching out to me in the past few weeks, I want to just share this. A year and a half ago, I spent some time with Billy trying to get him to focus on empathy and paying people back from the original Fyre. I hoped and prayed that he had changed during his time in prison, but I am not sure that is the case. As we began discussing a financial package to make sure that I got paid this time, he ghosted me and went off on his own. I have said this repeatedly, but I am the only one who stuck by Billy, who lost hundreds of thousands of dollars of the original Fyre Festival. Not to mention a massive hit to my career after being labeled toxic from being involved with Billy. What most of the world doesn't know is that I agreed to do the Netflix Fyre documentary for free so that the true story could be told, and we could create awareness to be able to set up the GoFundMe to pay back as many people in the Bahamas as possible. Okay, wait. I need to watch this documentary because, one, you don't typically get paid for appearing on a documentary, to my knowledge. You're interviewed for a documentary. I don't know the guy's role in this success. I don't know the extent of his role in this, so I don't want to say. Maybe he was like a co-producer or something. But typically, you just interview people for documentaries. It's not like you're not guest starring on the documentary. You're not an actor. But also, what do you mean a GoFundMe? Who is putting into that GoFundMe? All the money should come from the people who are responsible for this. What do you mean a GoFundMe? I didn't watch documentary. Maybe it explains it there, but in the end, I am saddened by Billy's actions and his current turmoil, as it looks like he is setting himself for another failure. A damning response from the reddest man I've seen in a long time.
Despite the rumors and doubts, Fyre Fest founder and convicted fraudster Billy McFarlane took to Instagram to say the show will go on.
I have an important Fyre update.
Whether Fyre Festival 2 is happening or isn't obviously depends on who you ask. Either way, as we found out, organizers are happy to take your money.
Let's try and buy a ticket for Fyre Festival 2. Well, $1,400 looks like the cheapest. They have boat docking, so if I decide to go by yacht, I'll know where to park.
The order went through, but we've received no information, and there's no customer service number to call, only an email address.
My family says I'm insane. My friend group thinks it's pretty cool, though.
They found someone! They found a real human who bought in on this! And let's be real, these look like the kind of guys who would buy a Fyre Fest 2 ticket. No shade to these kids, but they do have the face of someone who would buy a ticket to Fyre Fest 2. You can interpret that information however you'd like. I think it's very funny that like the news station that's obviously got money to burn, they've got a budget for the news story, was like, let's just buy a ticket and see what happens here. It's fascinating that there is no phone number. Like, if I spent over $1,000 on a ticket to a maybe fraudulent festival, I'd want there to be a phone number at least. I really want to read the fine print of the ticket. I might have to do that on my own time though, because I gotta make an account on their website. I'm not gonna buy one, but I'm sure you can read the fine print before you buy it.
I don't want to jump to any conclusions and start, freaking my mom out going to Mexico, for random festivals.
20-year-old Asa Maker and his friend.
I wouldn't call it a random festival. I don't think your mom would freak out that you're going to a random festival. I think that she would freak out because you're trying to go to this very specific festival.
21-year-old Teo Lebordenek know how lucky they are. The pair scored free tickets to Fyre 2 after Asa's little brother reached out to McFarland himself. They're still waiting on details too, like where to book their flights.
I want to be fully confident that when I arrive in Mexico that there is a festival that I can attend.
There's a lot of uncertainties.
The issues this time around appear to be all about location. Originally,
Were they gifted the tickets or did they buy the tickets like at a reduced rate or whatever? Also, the absolute buffoonery of this organization, like let's say for a second, let's just pretend for a minute that there is a real festival that's happening and that because of some permit debacle, it got moved from one city to another. If you planned ahead and bought your ticket and booked your hotel when the tickets were available like a month ago, you booked a hotel in the wrong place now because the festival has now moved. And I would imagine that a lot of those hotels probably do not offer full refunds. Some of them might. Who knows? Probably not, would be my guess. So you've booked a hotel in the wrong place. You're out that money, so you got to book another hotel. And this is the broad assumption for suspending our disbelief that this is a real festival that will actually happen. Even if that part is true, you've already fucked people who bought tickets and booked the wrong hotel after you told them what hotels to book. Gifted is what it sounds like. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just afraid their mom watches ABC News and doesn't want them to be pissed that their son spent over $1,000 on tickets. I don't know, man. Why would he give out free tickets to a fake festival? It goes against the grift.
The weekend festival was billed for May 30th to June 2nd at Isla Mujeres, Mexico, near Cancun. Only problem, the town's tourist board denied any knowledge of the festival, telling The Guardian, for us, this is an event that does not exist.
What's going to happen? Because we've been here before and it led to a sham. The question is this sham 2.0?
So organizers announced Fyre 2 would actually be held a couple hours south in Playa del Carmen. Except now,
a couple hours south. If you booked hotels in the other city, you're just fucked.
Officials there are denying involvement too. McFarland fired back on social media, posting these supposed tourism and environmental permits on Instagram, along with what he says are receipts of payment to the government of Playa del Carmen. McFarland wrote, Fyre has been working directly with the government of Playa del Carmen and their officials since March 5th, 2025 to ensure a safe and successful event. All media reports suggesting our team has not been working with the government of PDC are simply inaccurate and based on misinformation. McFarland, who served prison time for fraud over the first Fyre Festival, had promised there would be an announcement by now about performers and celebrities.
If you and your friends want to ATV through the jungle with the Super Bowl champion, if you want to swim with the sharks with a pop star, or if you want to learn MMA on the beach with a UFC champion, DM me and I will personally help you and your friends get set up.
Okay, what that tells me is, okay, so that seems what these kids did. Is what it feels like to me, he was like, DM me, we'll get you set up. Those kids probably did, and there's no way the ticket was, he gave it to him at a reduced rate. He was like, just Venmo me. Venmo me $500 each. And I'll get you a ticket. Don't worry, I got you. Well, Antonio Brown's indeed a Super Bowl champion. All right, well, something about a broken clock and twice a day.
So far, the only act announced is former football star turned rapper Antonio Brown, who famously ended his sports career strangely walking off the field without a shirt. 8 years ago, the original Fyre
I guess Antonio
Fest
Brown's
was
rapping
supposed
now,
to be the
so.
hottest. In 2017, a $100 million class action lawsuit on behalf of attendees and festival workers was filed against McFarland. It has since been settled. McFarland was charged with defrauding investors out of $27 million. He ultimately pleaded guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud in 2018, and he served nearly 4 of his 6-year sentence in federal prison. He spoke to my colleague Michael Strahan in 2022 after his release.
A lot of people consider you to be the ultimate con man. What do you consider yourself to be?
I was wrong. So I messed up, and I was so driven by this desperate desire to prove people right. I had these early investors.
He's not even like that good of a con man. As far as con man goes, bro's not cracking the top 10. Like when I think of the greatest con man of all time, I'm thinking like Sam Bankman-Fried. I'm thinking Jordan Belfort. You know, guys who they didn't get away with it, but like, you know, for a time got away with a lot more money for a lot longer. Bro is JV League, you know what I mean? He's not varsity scammer. He wants to be. He's trying to get there. But he's not making the Watch Mojo top 10 scammers of all time. I'm telling you that.
And I think I was just so insecure that I thought the only way to prove myself to them was to succeed. And that led me down just this terrible path of bad decisions.
And the judge called you a, quote, serial fraudster whose frauds, just like a circle, has no end. Has your fraud ended?
I think that's an extremely accurate description of my behavior. And I think this time around, it truly is more important to me to build trust and relationship than any long-term ideas of success.
If McFarland does fail, he'd open himself up to both civil and criminal liability, probably even higher forms of liability, because he knew what he did wrong in the past and committed those same acts again.
So far, it has been a bumpy ride, and like Asa, we're left wondering what's in store.
If Billy can really follow through on everything he promised, then it would truly be like an amazing, amazing experience.
If, you know, we were promised these things and it doesn't happen, that's robbery.
We asked these two random kids again what they thought. And they're like, yo, dude, if all these lies are not lies, it's going to be sick. I do want to go back now to their website. It hasn't changed at all. I just scrolled through this earlier. Has not changed at all, really. I want to go back to the FAQs, and I want to see if the coordinates are still there, if they've changed. Okay, where is the festival located? Okay, they did change this. We got new coordinates. Is this the middle of the ocean still? Okay, no. It's not. I mean, it's technically it is still in the water, but at least we're closer to shore this time. We're not quite on land, but we're closer to land. And at this point, I'm gonna take that as a win, I guess. Maybe when they change the location again, we'll be right on top of the land. Maybe if we change the location again, we'll nail it this time. All right. Damn. Well, that's all the information I have.